right, the next person. Ole Tolstad. He is a photographer at Atelier in Trondheim. He's also a communication advisor at NTNU Faculty of Architecture, Art and Design. And he has, along with Andreas Brennlund, who will also speak later, started this sort of networking organization. Can I call it organization? Association, wonderful. Called North Cultitude 6263, and he will explain the numbers to you. But they have connected over 500 artists across 9 countries who now have found people they can collaborate with. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Do you hear me? It's on. Okay, nice to be in Kristiansund again. I think the last time I was here was in the Nordic Light Festival some years ago. So this is one of your brandings. Well, how to explain the North Cultitude 6263? Well, it is an international cultural network that is following the latitudes 62 and 63 around the world. But why do we establish a network like this? Well, 10 years ago, Andreas Brennlund from Sweden, that is often in Trøndelag and in Norway with his project, the next speaker, came and visited Britt, former speaker, in Atelier Ilsvika, because it's also so that I am a member there as well. It's my studio. So Britt and I, we had worked a lot together during the years. But one night, in what we call a wine-dedicated symposium, Britt and Andreas sat and actually missed a mid-Nordic cultural interfield network. We weren't satisfied with it. So we decided that the day after they came to me and asked me to be a co-organizer, and we decided to establish an association, North Cultitude 6263. So our aim was to, during 10 years, to connect all the 9 countries along the line, 62 and 63, 2 latitude lines, during 10 years. And, well, 10 years is gone, and we have 2 countries left. But our attitude is to look upon the world in another way, in the cultural context, because usually we are thinking very much vertical. We are thinking about Oslo, Copenhagen, Brussels, and where we can get funding, where the power is. And they, very often, even in South or in North, they are very occupied with themselves. And in the mid-Nordic, like in Trøndelag, for example, we seem and feel that we are in a kind of hole, in a way. So we decided to try to fill this hole together with our companies and companions in Sweden and Finland first, and then go around. And we try then to have another look upon the world, from the North Pole and down, and follow the line around, and then you have another attitude, another cultural geography. So we try to make, and not make, but follow another artistic, cultural geography, in a way. So, as you see, this line up here is 22,000 kilometers long. The equator is 44,000. And the latitude, 62 and 63, is 220 kilometers wide. I'm born on the 22nd of October, and my wife is born the 22nd of January. Is there a catch-22 in this? I don't know. During our Well, during our work anyway, we tried to find some places in these 9 countries along the latitude that would be natural to have a kind of node and go out and visit. So here we have found very many places, and most of them we have been, but we are still lacking Canada and Alaska. So we are going abroad. We are catching some artists, some musicians and everything. We are trying to call up the country we are going to and bringing 6 or 8 persons from different fields. And we have been to Russia. We were invited to a mid-Russian cultural conference with 2,000 participants, and we were the official guests. 4 days presenting. We had our own KGB assistant. We had a chauffeur, and we had 2 translators. We were, I think, 6, 7 persons we were, from Finland, Norway, and Sweden. And we had presentation in this high conference. And it was another kind of experience, actually. But still we have trying to have contact. But because of the pandemic and the war, we have lost the contact. But we hope to get it back. So, for example, we went to the Faroe Islands in Tjørnevik, beautiful place, because there was an artist in residence. And just now, 2 of the artists we met there, they are now in Malakta in Finland doing a land art project in cooperation with the municipality and this Malakta art factory. I'll come back to that. So you can go far away and find these powerful places. And of course, we went to Iceland. We went both to Reykjavik and Akureyri to establish nodes and contacts there. And, well, we will, of course, go back. And, of course, in Greenland. We have been there twice. And in 2021, we participated in this great Nuuk Nordic Cultural Festival as participant invited for having concert and presentations for the network. So, what are we doing from else to travel around? Yes, we have some arrangements. We have some events like art dinner. The art dinner is organized so that we have a long table serving dinner with good food and wine. And in the end of the table, we have a big screen and a camera, and the dinner table continues in another country, where they also eat the same food and eat and drink the same wine. And we have 1 musician or 2 from the 2 places, and they play together. Nice. And this is from, here you can see the table, and it's Härnösand in Sweden on the other side. So we had a drummer and a guitarist and a didgeridoo player playing together, but you know, Skype 10 years ago, very bad. Today, it's far better. Andreas will tell very much about this, because we have to do very much improvement about this. So that's one of our arrangements. And we have these other more concert and conferences, like we have Art Along, that we also arrange, that is based on one place. But on those places also we have pitches. Artists that want to cooperate, they pitch their idea, and we send it to internet and around the world, and perhaps they found another artist in another place that want to cooperate. And I will show you some results about this. We also arrange seminars and conferences, and in last year we had the Nordic Point in Trondheim. We've had the Norwegian Art Council, we had the municipality, we had the region, we had the NTNU on stage, and also the president of the Nordic Råd, to have the aim on how we can strengthen the mid-Nordic cultural cooperation, because we think everybody agreed about it is down in a way. So we got some support, and we of course had a big concert in the night with musicians from all these 5 countries: Faroe Islands, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Okay. There is something about the sender here. Okay, when we went to Greenland, we brought some musicians that never have played together before. And on Greenland, they established Airborne, experimental folktronica, and they are still having concerts around, meeting very often. Jens Komen is from Hovendroven, famous group. Martin Palmer, multi-artist in Trondheim, musician. Michele Urkedu from Finland, and Göran Månsson, a great flutist, international. So they are one of our results. And Britt told you about hunger. It's their project, but we were a bit in the back to, stimulate and for the project. It was about clay, reed, and food. When we went to Iceland, we had a great meeting in Reykjavik with all the associations and the artists we could grab. And there we have brought a Finnish filmer meeting an Icelandic sopran singer. And they decided to make a film. They went around in Iceland the year after, grabbed some money, and she sang in volcanoes and in workshops and so on. And they made a 20-minute film in the Finnish television. That's another result. And Ensemble 6263, Torald Vigum, you know him from Kristiansund, the opera as well, because he's the director. Torald Vigum is very active in networking, because he has many musicians in his arms, and he has established this Ensemble 6263 with musicians from Iceland, Faroe Island, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Last year they played in Stangvik. But they go for a second or third time now in this summer, together with blowers in Faroe Islands in the Sumartunar Festival. And the other thing that we do not arrange, but we initiate and cooperate, it's for festivals. 4 years ago, we had got some money from the Nordic Culture Fund, Nordic Point, and for our work, so to say. And in this context, we supported and initiated 3 festivals, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And Manamine is Andreas going to tell more about. And we also had, as I said, Stangvik Festival. This is the Ensemble 6263. There is Frode Fjellheim there, who was the composer in the festival, and Torald Vigum in the front, and musicians for all these 5 countries. In Little Stangvik, my God, this is fantastic, where Anita and Britt is going on. And Malakta Art Factory in Finland, outside Vasa, which is one of our nodes. Very powerful place where there's a place where they made butter and cheese, and they took the whole structure and made it into an art factory. They also have artists in residence. And this is the pointed 3 festivals that we initiated in 2022. That was also a result that when we got the money, the pandemic came, and we have to postpone all of these festivals, unfortunately. But we made it in the end. So these are actually the collaborating nodes that we have established. Some of them are very active, some of them are a bit sleeping, but we are still in touch. So this is a kind of structure that is living by itself in a way. The new node, collaborating node, is Britts Kvenna Kunstverksted. And she is very active on the networking, so we are very glad. And now we think about Kristiansund. It's there, and it's on 63.6, so you're in. So perhaps we can create a node here as well. Well, let's see. And as I said, we are going to Canada following the gold rush. And it's Anita Land here and Svein Sæter, as is our link to the story of people from this area going to Alaska and Canada in the beginning of the 19th century to find the gold, and came back. and had very much to tell, and we want to go there because it's on the 63. So we try to get there next year in Klondike. And this is, well, just some persons that are our node contacts around. And my last question here is, of course, about funding. So there is some funding, well, like regions and municipalities and some official funds and also banks, but also our contacts in the studios and associations around. But the Norwegian Art Council, we have got no money from until now. So that's the 62-63 North Cultitude network. But before I finish, I want to tell a bit about what I think about gentrification and the challenges for Kristiansund, for example. Britt told us about Nyhavna in Trondheim. And as I am working in NTNU, in architecture and design, we are also been a bit involved in Nyhavna, for example, in these happenings in Nyhavna sometimes. And of course, this is about the transformation with the challenges of harbor industry, art studios that they want to tear down, and the real estate and the housing. So this is from Making is Thinking is 2016, where Cirka Theater and NTNU had something going on together to show what is possible in Nyhavna. And this is a book that we have very recently edited together with Uten Titel about arkitekturforståelse, about stedsutvikling and so on. So it's just a tips. So this is from this book. And I want to say something about contemporary art in place development. That is actually the issue of this, some of the issue of this seminar. And I am very fond of street art. And we have, of course, recognized that around when we are going with North Cultitude 62-63. Well, just here is Atle Ilsvika, and this is the harbor. So just in the middle of the harbor, they started the street art festival in Trondheim in, I think it was in 2017. So we were, Atle Ilsvika was actually housing the launch for the artist. So some of these art, these operas, they are still on the walls of Trondheim. And I think we should wait for this, because... Okay. Nothing is happening. And... Restart. Okay, anyway, we are going to look at also street art from Iceland. Strange. Is it this old machine that is making this? You think so? Okay. Now it's quite gone. Det er ikke noe strømsparing på her, vet du. Men kan du ikke bare vise seg helt? Nå kommer det. Nå kommer det. Ja. Ok. try again. Okay. Well, you saw this one is still on the mill of Trondheim, very huge Italian artist. And this is beside Atle Ilsvika. And I have put there Bjørn Inge Melås, an architect that is now just doing his doctoral thesis about ecologies of urban gardening. And this is the start of his garden. So according to what we also heard yesterday from Casa Grande, we have actually, you know, Bjørn Inge Trygve, for example. He's just finished. So it's very nice to have this in the area. And in Östersund, we found a very beautiful place with an outside gallery there. And some artists have been making this street art. I think it would be a good idea for Kristiansund as well. And when we go abroad, come on then. We came to Nuuk, Block 1. Nuuk is many beautiful street art. And I think it's going very fast now in the last. What kind of street food do they serve in Nuuk, in the colonial harbor? I don't know. Ja, men det er straks ferdig.
Okay.
Bare ta det samme. Here we are on Akereiri, and of course always pølsebua. Reykjavik, the great harpa. This is the hype of Reykjavik, but I would consider that this is the highlight of Reykjavik. In all the brochures from Reykjavik, this is the pølsebua, pulser, is one of the highlights. And, well, this is Britt and Andreas. This is open all day until midnight, and it's always filled with people. It's in the middle of Reykjavik, and they are only selling pølser, sausages, drinks. That's it. Nothing else. And I thought that I'm sorry, it's my computer, probably. I thought that in Kristiansund, you should have a bacalao bu. Not only fishan and the kebab. So why not challenge the artists to design a kind of fish bu based in Kristiansund? Lighting art, also a great easy potential. For example, Pekka Stokke, what he's doing around, he's doing in Bergen. And I think I go over finishing now. Housing thing. And here, no, this is the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the last one. So we can just let it go. Pekka Stokke and I, we did this some years ago together, lighting the whole main building in NTNU by the drawing of the architects in 1910. And we scanned the drawings and tried to put them on the same building as a kind of double thing. And that's what Pekka Stokke is, for example, has done in this thing in Poland, playing with the structures, of course, in a much more artistic way. But that's it. Welcome to the network. Thank you.